Please be seated. If you are a fan of a long, drawn-out, and possibly taxing, I just thought I should say sermon there, but I won't. But if you're a fan of a long, drawn-out, and possibly taxing television series, then I have to say British television is probably not for you. Let's just take two examples. Let's take, for example, the British version of The Office, which of course is the precursor to the U.S. version of The Office. The Office in Britain ran for 2 seasons. Here in the United States, it ran for 9 seasons. Or how about the original UK House of Cards TV series? That was 4 55-minute episodes in total. The U.S. version is currently on its 6th season. So if you're keeping score at home, that's 274 U.S. episodes to 16 United Kingdom episodes across those 2 TV series. Now this used to frustrate me quite a lot watching UK television. I would think I can't wait to the next season after the first season, only to find that that was it. It frustrated me greatly. But I think I'm coming around to the sentiment that maybe, just maybe, we can have too much of a good thing. Which isn't to say that we haven't read a book or watched a TV series and wished that the creators would keep going. Please, write another one. The journey can't end here. Please, just one more season. Just 10 more episodes. The story can't stop here. Well, as Caleb brought the gloom and doom into 2019 at the 9 a.m. service, the Marvel comic universe, the Star Wars universe, and the Game of Thrones universe are all coming to an end in 2019. Fans of those 3 series might be crying out just a little bit more, but we are led to believe 2019 is the end for them. But we should be careful for what we wish for. Sometimes TV series can go on even though one of the main characters leaves the show. David Caruso in NYPD Blue, Steve Carell in The Office, aforementioned, Shelley Long in Cheers, Dick York in Bewitched, or maybe Suzanne Summers in Three's Company brings back memories for you. And that's just to name a few, where characters have left the show, but the show went on. Losing one of the main actors or the main actor might just mean that the show should come to an end. Now, there is definitely more than one way to read our story of Jesus and his encounter with Thomas that we heard this morning. Or we could say that there are many deep layers to the story. Now, I'm going to be what might be a little risky today, and I'm not going to tackle the doubt of Thomas at all. I'm assuming that Thomas is quite thankful that I will not be talking about him again this year. Now, without a doubt, pun intended, it is a gripping and important aspect of the story, but there is another important thread to our story as well. And that thread, that theme to our story today, might make our British friends a little uneasy. Because that theme is the show must go on. It can't end here. It can't end now. It can't end at the cross or on the cross. It can't end at the tomb or in the tomb. And it can't even end with our story of Jesus and Thomas this morning. Jesus wants us to know, like he wanted his apostles to know, the show must go on. This resurrection encounter is, at least in part, about stressing that the story isn't over. The life of Jesus has not come to an end. This story and life of Jesus isn't going to be a brief one. It's not going to be a 1-season, 4-episode affair. It isn't even going to be a 20-episode, 2-season series. It's going to go on and on and on. In other words, it's right up our USA TV watching alley. The story of Jesus makes The Simpsons look like the new kid on the block. But make no mistake this morning, the apostles thought it was done and over with. They are tucked away in a safe room, not ready to even go out and see the light of day. They surely are not ready to burst into the streets proclaiming anything about Jesus of Nazareth. That time will come. And part of what Jesus is doing in that locked room today is getting them ready to do just that. But when Jesus finds them, it is definitely not what they are planning. At this point, for the apostles, the story has drawn to a close. It was fun while it lasted, but the execs at the British Broadcasting Company have called and made it clear the life of Jesus has run its course. Pull the plug. Take away the funding. The life of Jesus was inspiring and even a bit of fun at times, but it's over. The cross and the tomb were the end. And that is where Jesus finds his apostles when he comes looking for them. He finds them possibly remembering the good times. He finds them definitely fearful of the future, and also knowing one thing: it's over. The plot took an unexpected and nasty turn at the end. The main character is dead, and there is not going to be a happy ending. There's not going to be a recast or a reboot a few years down the line. The apostles know that the curtain has closed. Back to the tax collector booth, back to the fishing boats. And this is where Jesus re-enters his story. He enters the room knowing what he is up against. It was not going to be an easy task to bring his followers back from what they witnessed on Golgotha. He is going to have to convince them that not only is the story not over, not only is it going to go on, but the main character is back. Really and truly back from the dead. There won't be any need to call in a stunt double or the understudy. The headliner is here to keep the story rolling. He showed them his hands and his side. Put your finger here and see my hands. Reach out. Do not doubt. The first task that Jesus was to accomplish was to show his apostles that the crucified one was really and truly back. There was no doubt. There was some doubt in the story, but Jesus wants them to know that there is no doubt that he is back. Yes, dead people don't come back from the dead, and even if they do, they don't come back for long. They die again. Well, Jesus wants to show his apostles and us a different way. He shows them first and foremost that their rabbi is back, that he is the crucified one that they thought was defeated and gone forever. And in so doing, he establishes a continuity with what they have known and what they will know all over again in their resurrected Lord. Jesus wants to make sure to the apostles, and most definitely to Thomas, that they know that he is not an imposter, a faker, an identity thief. No, the crucified one now stands as the risen one in their midst. The show can go on because Jesus is really and truly back. And he wants his apostles to know something very important. The show must go on past that room, past that encounter. And the show must go on now to a certain degree with the supporting cast taking up the lead. And so Jesus not only establishes that he is really and truly back, but also that the apostles are going to have to take his presence into the world. In other words, the story is going to continue because he has risen from the dead, and they will be the ambassadors of the risen one. And so will we, as we insert ourselves into that locked room with Thomas this morning. One of the most inspiring aspects of the church is how the Spirit empowers us to bring the presence of Christ into each other's lives. We are part of the cast as well. And as part of the cast, we are part of the resurrection story. Each of us have our own roles to play in the story of the resurrected life of Jesus. But make no mistake, the story goes on, and in part, it goes on because of us and through us. Former Archbishop William Temple echoes these themes that I've been hitting upon this morning, and the apparent death and stagnation of the church, but where life springs up, when he said this. Remember, Temple says, the supreme wonder of the history of the Christian church is that always in the moments when it has seemed most dead, out of its body there has sprung up new life, so that in age after age it has renewed itself, and age after age, by its renewal, has carried the world forward into new stages of progress. In that closed room, Jesus propelled his apostles into new stages of progress. And here we are today, with our risen Lord, to do the same. Amen.